See? Ooh. Look, I go back to Jesus. See, a few good men. That's why in Islam we love Jesus. That's why in Islam we praise Allah for Jesus, because he was a perfect example of the law of God from the Quranic viewpoint. But from the biblical viewpoint, he knew he was a king. He knew his kingdom had not yet come. But Satan knew that too. Jesus, come up on the mountain with me. Something I want to show you. He said, look out there. All those cities. They're mine. But if you bow down to me, I'll give that to you. And what did the master say? Get thee behind me, Satan. Now wait, how many of us, see, now we're going up the ladder now. Some of us already stumbled back. But if you're going up the ladder, how many of us got the strength to tell Satan, get behind me? See, when you want something, you want to be on Broadway, you got your thing all together. But the owner of that particular thing is homosexual. And he might want you to do a little favor so he could grant you your desire. Are you strong enough to say, get behind me? See, if you want what God is going to give you, you don't care nothing about what man can offer you. Abraham was an upright man. He was not one of the polytheists. He only worshiped God and God alone. So he's the father of the few. Yes, sir. Good men. Yes, sir. Now all of us have known good men in our lives, at least people that appear good. When you're a revolutionary, you give your idea, people come to your side. They're with you. But as the revolution goes on, you see this one fall away, that one fall away, this one. Why? Because they didn't get what they thought they were going to get, because they only offered their life to you for what they can gain from you. So even their love for you is tainted. Here's our mayor. He's an older man now. He's better. He's wiser. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that song. Yeah. Yes. He's stronger. Yes. But the key word is he's older. See, it takes age. It takes going up and falling down. It takes getting up and getting knocked down to learn something about life and about people that gather around you when it looked like you got everything. But when you're out of office and they can't get the favors, your phone don't ring no more. Oh, that's Mayor.
Yeah.
See, that's not good. But he knows who is good. Every man that has achieved, or woman that has achieved something in life, you begin to know who's good, who means you good. And when you got money, then people flock around you like bees that making honey. But you don't know what they love. You think they love you? Don't be no fool. Just stop the money for a minute, and you see what's sitting up under what you thought was good.
That's right.
See, good can be tried. People who got good in their heart can be tried, and they will always come up good. And that's why there's just a few. Now, you know, John in the Bible and John in the Quran, you know, the circumstances of his birth was such that from the womb he was chosen. He was made good by God from the womb. So God blessed him. He had wisdom. He was kind-hearted. He was pure. He was obedient. He was not insolent. He was kind to his parents. Deeper than that, he was submissive to God. And the Quran says John was a good one. And right after mentioning John, the Quran mentions Jesus. You know, I love talking about Jesus. Now my Baptist preacher friends, they say Farrakhan, I think it was Reverend Lowry, who said, that Farrakhan is a schizophrenic preacher. He said, he talk about Jesus and preachers can't keep up with him.
That's right.
I talk about him like that because I know him. See, and there's a difference between people who preach Jesus and people who know Jesus. There's a difference about people who preach Muhammad and the people who know Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
And you can't know him unless God touches you.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And when God touches you, you don't talk about him.
Come on.
You are into him. And you allow him to get in to you. I'm almost there. Do you know that in this book, Quran, the mother of Jesus is honored more than any other woman in the world? The mother of Jesus is honored more than Abraham's mother, more than Moses' mother, more than Muhammad's mother. Why? She was a pure woman. And it said the angels contended with one another over who would have charge over her. See, Mary was so pure that God used her womb to bring into the world the Messiah, through whom the whole world would be blessed. Now, the goodness of the Messiah is not good for a few. The goodness of the Messiah is that he is good for all. But I want to caution you. even good things start small and look narrow to the narrow onlooker. See, when he said to his disciples, he's trying to make a few good men, you know, he said, go ye not into the way of the Gentiles, or even unto the Samaritans, but go ye to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Very specific, very narrow the focus. That's Jesus.
Yes, sir.
He started narrow. So if you looked upon Jesus in the beginning of his ministry, you would say he was a nationalist.
Right.
Come on now, talk to me.
Go ahead.
That he was only interested in the children of Israel.
Come on, come on. Preach that.
And he was raising these nationalistic disciples who were trifling young men. But he was trying to make them a few good men.
Yeah.
His ministry was to take a few up the ladder with him.
Right.
Who's going to sit at the right hand? Who's going to sit at... Huh? What? See, he knew they had madness. But he had to cleanse them. He did lots of things to show his disciples that humility is the start of going up the ladder to be a few good men. He washed the feet of his disciples.
Yes, sir.
Ah, boy. He's humble.
Yeah.
He's trying to tell his disciples, don't worry about your neighbor with the fine car
That's Go ahead.
and you on a scooter. Maybe tomorrow he'll ask to borrow your scooter with the price of gas as it is. But nevertheless,
Yes, sir.
he's trying to teach his disciples, stop fearing about your bread. Look at the lilies. They toil not, neither do they spin. But I take care of them. How much more will I take care of you? And then they were such trifling disciples, he had to keep telling them, oh ye of little faith. Trifling. They were some funny dudes. And here come Judas. I call him jealous Judas. He saw this sister with long hair. She put a little ointment on her hair and she was rubbing it on Jesus' feet. Now think about that. Ain't no brother in here, you know what I mean, sister with long hair that she bought at the Korean store. Put a little ointment on your hair. Good brother, can I rub your foot? And Jesus was so kind, he let the sister do that. And here comes Judas. He said, Jesus, that ointment is very expensive. I mean, look at that sick dude. This ointment is very expensive.
Yeah.
And in other words, she wasted it on your foot. We could have sold that and took the money and given it to the poor, like he had more love for the poor than a man who was born to die for the poor. But in his heart, there was envy for his master. And I don't care how many men have teachers. There's always somebody among the students who are envious of their teacher. So he got all the way to the master's table, but couldn't cut the mustard so he could be one of the few good men. But somehow, after Jesus' crucifixion, you know, people sometimes get more from you dead, you know. I don't know why that is, you know. But it's like when death comes, you know, you're divested of the thing that gives problems, which is flesh. This is a covering for the real you, but it gives you trouble.
Yeah.
Until we can master this, we can never really get up that ladder to be one of the few good men. Huh? We lost Imam Warithuddin Muhammad last week, and I can tell the truth, you know, I have not been more upset with members of passing of my own family than I was when I learned that Imam Muhammad had passed. For almost a week, I wasn't able to sleep well. And it seemed like his spirit was hovering and troubling me. Sometimes when the flesh is gone, all you have left is the body of knowledge that a person brings, and the knowledge is more perfect than the body that housed the spirit of a man who gave us that knowledge. Because there is no human that is without sin. Even though the prophets in the Quran are called sinless, it is not that they are sinless. No, no, no. Nobody comes here. I don't care what kind of prophet you are. The fact that you quoted Abraham and he was so trifling.
Yes.
What do you mean trifling? Just what I said. Why are you going to trouble God after he tells you he's going to destroy the city except Lot and his family? Why would you trouble him unless you disbelieved in his word? But God had patience with that man. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Hell, they couldn't find one. But God was patient to let his servant come to agreement with his judgment. After the death of Jesus, those disciples were transformed in an upper room experience. And they became good men in him. They lost that foolishness of who's going to be first or last, or who had this or who didn't have that. They now were focused on the assignment to go ye into all the world and preach this gospel to every nation, kindred, and tongue. And those men then were willing to give their lives for that gospel. Many of the early Christians in Rome did exactly that. They were good people who died for a good cause. They gave their lives that you could praise him today. I close with Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was a good man even before he received revelation. He was an honorable man of good character. The Quran said he had sublime morals. He was sympathetic, he was generous, he was faithful, he was forgiving, he was courageous, he was steadfast.
Yes.
But he was a white man.
Come on.
Is that a problem? See, it's only a problem if goodness to you is measured by the color of a person's skin. You got a problem. Because he was white complected. But yet was all of this that the Quran says he was. And there was a black man in Arabia from Ethiopia that heard that he was preaching the oneness of God. He already believed in the oneness of God, but he wanted to meet this man, this light-complected man. They call it fair skin. What the hell is fair about it? See, that's part of the sickness of racism that has infected Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Because if you're light-skinned, you're fair-skinned, does that mean you can be fair in a white skin? Does it mean that you are automatically fair because you have quote-unquote fair skin? This black man saw him and heard him and believed in him and became one of his strongest supporters and followers. And when they came to Muhammad and said, Bilal is saying something, it's like a call, you know. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great.
Yes, sir.
And when they heard his melodious voice and they told the prophet, he said, make that the call to prayer. And then, listen now, I'm about to close, but listen, Prophet Muhammad said, he heard the footsteps of Bilal going into paradise ahead of his own. Now I close. See, he heard Bilal, a black man, going into paradise ahead of him. How could that be? And you are the prophet of Allah. How could that be? It means that Muhammad was an Arab. And after Muhammad gave the Quran to the Arabs, and the Arabs were to spread it to the ends of the earth, the Arabs became corrupt. See, racism has affected them. Ain't no question about it.
No question. You're right about that.
It has affected the Jews. It has affected those who call themselves Christians. So when they do good for you, you got to look at the motivation.
Yes, sir. That's right.
They'll build a mega church for you.
Uh-huh. Come on, come on.
But what is the intention?
That's right.
They send you to Africa to preach, but what is the intention? You are a people
Yeah.
that are deceived by outward appearance of good.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So what the prophet saw, within the last days, God would choose a foolish people to be his own. They were lost among a strange people in a strange land, but God heard, the Bible says, their moaning and their groaning according to their taskmaster. And look at the words. He said, I think I will go down now and see whether their cry is altogether what I have heard. He's not sending no prophet. He's coming himself to see about a people that have been catching hell for 400 years.
Yes, sir.
Not under good men,
Yes, sir. Come on.
but under evil men and women masquerading.
Yeah.
But among them were a few good men that wanted to see black people free. We thank God for those few good men. We thank God that through the dark night of slavery, he brought us through. We never could have made it.
Yes.
We never could have made it if he was not with us.
Yeah.
I thank God for the Christian church, because the slave master allowed us to have church. The slave master took the gifted speakers among us, not the good people, but the gifted speakers.
My God.
There's a big difference between oration and goodness. And they were to preach that which would make them better tools of service for the master. Nat Turner was a preacher, but not that kind.
That's right. Yes, sir. Not that kind. Uh-huh.
Denmark Vesey knew the Bible, but he wasn't that kind of preacher.
That's right.
Toussaint Louverture. Good men who knew something about God and a willingness to sacrifice to make life better for those coming behind, huh? So what did you see, Prophet Muhammad? I saw the sun rising in the west as it rose in the east. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that the sun would reverse its course. It only means that as revelation from God came always from the east, shining toward the west. Now God was going to reverse that and raise up men and women in the West
Yes, sir.
out of the people of Belial that would call the world back to the true worship of God.
Yes, sir.
You are messed up. We are messed up. But we are a beautiful people. You know, just sitting here this morning, listening to the songs of praise, see what you bring out of the beauty of your hearts and your love for God. You are naturally got it, but it has to be continuously nurtured.
Yeah.
See, you got a heart. Listen to me good. If anybody white suffered from your hands what you suffered from theirs, do you think they would marry into your family? They wouldn't even want to see your shadow. But look at you.
Look at you.
Look at you. When they ache, you ache. You can't see a white baby crying and not feel that pain. You got a beautiful heart. It's just in need of purification.
Yes,
But once God purifies us, then we can go into all the world. And you're going to preach not that gospel,
that's right.
but a new gospel. Because the scripture said, behold, I make all things new. There'll be a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things will pass away. So when you really know Christ, I ain't talking about him. I'm not talking about singing about him. I'm not talking about praising his name. I'm talking about getting acquainted with him.
Yeah.
When you really know him, you become a new creature.
Yes, sir.
You're not the same old Negro. You're not messed up in your head over your color.
That's right.
Oh. You become a new creature by the transformation of your mind. So I honor these few good men today, and I hope that God will allow us to ascend that ladder, to be among the select few.
Yeah. My God.
See?
Come on.
Because God don't need many to turn the world around. He just sometimes needs one good man. Every prophet of God, though one person, was able to do magnificent things in the name and with the help of God. So all of us today are called to do what is apparently impossible, to raise our people from the mental dead, to overcome the adversity of a negative world, to plant and nurture the seed of a new world, and overcome all opposition to the truth of that word that will bring in the kingdom until that truth is firmly established in the hearts and minds of the people. But this can only be done in the name and with the help of God. And all it needs is just a few good men. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Brothers and sisters, we thank God for this word that we've heard today. Please remain standing. This is a day and a time of decision. We're going to take a moment now. And the history has been at this house, because we don't have a narrow parochial provincial view of who God is and how he moves and how he works. And should there be a brother, a man, or a woman, or a child who wants to submit or surrender to God, become a part of this house or of another house of the Nation of Islam, or whatever your choice might be today.
Brothers and sisters, it would be disrespectful of you to leave just because I have finished and the head of this house has not dismissed us. So remain in your places and show that you want to be a part of the few good men. Let our pastor continue.
Thank you. Bless you. Thank you so much. So if there be one today, an invitation is extended to you to come while we just take a moment to receive you. And then we want to hear a word from our honorees today before we have the benediction. If you will just be patient. And let me remind you that there are those who would like to, if you'd like to register to vote, there are those outside who have a ticket.